most people who have disabilities, health conditions, neurodivergence, chronic illness, who are either applying for PIP or reapplying or reassessing, are potentially losing out on an average of £48,000. That's why I wrote this expert guide, and this supports my health journal. In this video, I'm going to be going through why that health journal is key to you being more successful in your applications and your reassessments. I'm going to be showing you some damning evidence from the TIMS review and where I think this is going to be going in the next couple of months, because come October there is going to be a major overhaul yet again. And if you're not listening, and I will say, watching the videos, guys, through to the end, because lots of you aren't, you're not going to have the information to get or apply for the things you're entitled to, or to increase your income, or literally save yourself through bank statement requests. So all I can say is the content is here. All you have to do is watch it to the end. So let's get into it. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody that's supporting the channel. Also to the new subscribers, yet again, hello, thank you. For those of you who don't know, I used to work for DWP only a little bit. I sued them single-handedly 3 times and won claims on unlawful harassment and failure to make reasonable adjustments in the workplace. During that 5-year-long court battle, which I represented completely by myself and did all my paperwork, all my legal paperwork, I learnt an awful lot more about legal representation, the types of tricks that DWP and their legal team like to play in court, and all sorts of other things which are literally pieces of golden nuggets for anybody that's struggling against a system that seems to, or it feels like, weaponizes a disability or a health condition against you for simply wanting to advocate for your own self-rights or claim things or apply for things that you're entitled to. Now, since I started my Advocacy, which is the Justice Journal's TV, which is this YouTube channel, and the Justice Journal's website, where I also do consultancy, where you can get Prove It, which is the case management tool that I use to help me win my cases in court. It's not legal advice, it's only case management. And since I started my community movement, I would say, off system, where I'm helping people really go from where they are right now to building better futures, whether that is financially increasing their income, whether that's maybe getting a higher rate of PIP because they haven't been able to evidence their PIP in the right way, whether they are providers and supporters or carers of people with disabilities. My Prove It course is really popular with everybody from claimants themselves through to CIC communities and all the rest of it. But since I've done all of these things, one thing that has become fundamentally clear, which is why I wrote the health journal and why it is a repeat #1 bestseller, is because people just do not understand how to evidence their health, and because of that they are leaving serious money on the table. Now, this is even more important because there are going to be massive changes, like I said, in the way PIP is being dealt with, and it might even be completely abolished, particularly if you have less obvious to the general public, it seems, health conditions or disabilities, psychiatric disorders, musculoskeletal conditions, neurological problems, neurodivergent problems. All of these health issues and problems, as you can see, have had a big decrease in the amount of awards being awarded. And when you have a look at the current customer journey from when somebody applies for PIP, it's not hard to see why everything just gets very protracted and very complicated. I note here the teeny weeny arrow that DWP have used between the space from an assessment to a decision. And here lies a massive part of the problem. The problem is DWP and certain organisations and agencies completely not managing the expectations of their service users, really by producing, I would say, completely inaccurate diagrams and data, if you want to call it that, like that. Because most people who apply for PIP know for a start that the actual wait period, quite often from assessment to actually getting a decision, is massive. And because of this really complicated summarization of their customer journey, it's very, very easy to understand why people get overwhelmed, why people start really thinking all I need to do is just go into an assessment and say what I think, why they get disheartened, why they give up, or in some cases, why they just don't reapply or apply in the first place at all. But when you think the current upper rate of PIP is £797 a month, which is roughly about £9,564 a year, and most people get awarded for 3 or 5 years, that is a potential award of £47,820 if you get your PIP application done correctly and you're able to evidence it, or you're able to challenge any type of challenge you need to overcome. My health journal is 20 quid. My course Prove It is a couple of £100. When you realise the value of that and what you can actually gain from it if you have genuine health conditions, it is absolutely a no-brainer. Now, what we can see from this data, and this is DWP's own data, is that actually new claims are getting much shorter awards. And I can say this is 100% true for access to work as well, because my company deals with quite a lot of people, with professionals and business owners with access to work. And it used to be 3 or 5 year awards. Now it's a 1 year award. Now, reviews generally, according to this data, so that's a column on the right hand side, they seem to get longer awards when it is reassessed claims, which basically means people who have already been successful with PIP, when it comes to the reassessment, it means the award they're actually given is longer. And I know there are a lot of people in my comments saying, I've just been reassessed, I've been awarded it for another 5 years, which is really good because you don't have to go through that grueling experience all over again. So getting it right the first time, putting the effort in and the preparation in the first time is really, really important, because it means you might potentially only have to do it a few times in your life. Now, getting back to the figures. So many people, once they get awarded PIP, when it comes to their health getting worse, or they're diagnosed with something in addition. So let's just say, for example, I had a car crash. So I already had a physical disability, but then I got diagnosed with a mental health condition, and quite a serious one at the time. And I mean, I basically was not at all scared about telling them about that change of circumstance. And I know it's really horrible, because when you phone them up, they almost like give you this warning. They say, oh, you do know if you do a change of circumstances, that could potentially end your claim, which I think is the most unsupportive way you could support someone with a disability. I'd even go as far to say it's pretty much like gaslighting someone into not making a change of circumstances when the health condition has got worse. But what's really, really interesting is this planned award review and change of circumstances outcome from manual reconsideration to appeal. So from here, we can see that 1.7 million, so it's about 64%, most people simply kept the same award. And then for about 23% of people, their award increased through manual reconsiderations, changes of circumstances, or appeals. there was, or there is, or was a decrease of only 6%. I would say it's probably a little bit more. At this stage, 6% of people had their awards decreased, and then there's a further 7% whose PIP claim or their application was completely disallowed. And lots of people, like I said, are really scared to ask or to make that change of circumstance. But here you can see that there is a positive increase of an award at 3% here. Okay, 8%, it hasn't changed at all. But then we've got a 12% uplift where manual reconsiderations have been decided. So from all of that, it's about 28%, 28 to 30% of people, once they've done a change of circumstance or they've had a manual reconsideration, there's actually been a change in their award. And over 80%, which is massive, of all appeals get overturned in the claimant's favour. So all I'm going to say to you is start doing the evidence, guys. So I'm going to go through some very quick tips on what you need to be doing. And then I'm going to direct you to a video after this, which goes into a bit more of a deeper dive. And of course, in my private, I wouldn't call it a community anymore. It's more like a movement, which is off system. There is even more support there, from the PIP plan to self-employment, because PIP is not means tested, right? You can work, you can start a business, you can do all sorts of things. So once you've got this part sorted, you can just maybe progress on to doing other things in your life. So number one, evidence is key. This is not optional. This is mandatory, right? Every single week you need to be collecting your evidence. Every single month you need to be doing your assessments. Every single quarter you need to be doing trigger point assessments. And every single day you need to be keeping your weekly planner updated here, and you need to be linking it to your fluctuation tracker. If you've got Prove It, my course, you will understand exactly why you need to do that and how you can then verbalize it. Inside Prove It, I also have the Prove It tool. So if you're struggling with words, if you're struggling to know, how do I actually put this into a letter, or how do I actually challenge quite a sort of passive aggressive comment about my health condition or the functional impact on it in a professional environment, that will help you loads. So evidence every single week is mandatory. If you don't have anyone to help you, you must have a family member or a friend or someone you have confidence in. Ask them to help you if you want to do that. Now, currently, you do not have to have a diagnosis for PIP. I think that is going to change, very much so, possibly even in October. So that gives you time to start getting information together. Along with a diagnosis, you also need something, or could use something, which is really useful. It's a functional impact statement. My company does this. I have nurses and I have qualified healthcare experts that work within my company with some of our clients, because I'm not medically trained at all, but they are. And they write lots of functional impact statements for LCWRA, for access to work claimants, just for all different things that they might need support with, including occupational health types of support. So the next one is occupational health. Occupational health is available to everybody. You can go to your doctor if you're not working. You can still get referred to an occupational health therapist. They can still write reports for you. They can give really good supporting evidence that can help support whatever it is that you're saying. If you're at work, you can have occupational health assessments done. Most employers have a third party that they use. But, and this is very important, occupational health assessments are meant to support the person being assessed. If you have an employer, for example, when I was working for DWP, they actually gave my occupational health therapist a whole load of questions that they said to her she had to ask me. That is completely not allowed. That is being very prescriptive. It's almost like coaching the occupational health assessor to write or do what they said. And if you watch the DWP case files, which is a playlist on this channel where I put a lot of my evidence from my court case out there, you will see, if you looked at those two, I had two assessments done, two occupational health assessments done, one without the questions and one with. You will see that it tells a very, very, very different story, which is why you always need to have your health evidence. I keep coming back to this. This is your body, it is your health. Do not leave every single person around you, an external agency, an employer, to evidence your health, because evidence can be manipulated if it falls into the wrong hands. If you've got your own evidence and you believe that that's happening, you can challenge it. If you don't, it's going to be your word against theirs, and we all know who's going to win. 5 fit notes, or sick notes, depends how you how you look at it. I know lots of DWP employees tell claimants in particular, you don't need any fit notes. You don't have to provide fit notes for them if they say that, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to you don't have to carry on getting them. And if I was you, I would carry on getting them, and make sure on your fit notes that your doctor specifically states what is wrong with you and the impact it's having on you. This is particularly important if you are dealing with work disability absences and your employer wants to make out, yeah, you weren't really ill with a mental health issue or a mobility issue, it's because you had the flu. If there's nothing written on your fit note or your sick note, you've got no evidence there to barter with. Okay, I could go on and on and on about even more evidence. Let me know if this is helpful for you, if it's helped kind of you understand a little bit more about why evidence is so important and how much money you could literally be losing out on if you don't start evidence your health in the right ways. And let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do a video on next. Have a great day, guys. Goodbye.